BioShock 2 has an impressive selection of weapons and plasmids, from summoning swarms of bees to fight for you, to harpooning slicers to the walls with vengeance. But what if we threw away all those weapons and focused on just throwing rocks at enemies until they stopped moving? Well, today we aim to find out, can you beat BioShock 2 with only telekinesis? Well, no, you can't. Reason being is telekinesis is the second plasmid you get, and there are forced fighting in between you and getting said plasmid. With that said, here are the rules to make this as close to a telekinesis only run as possible. Rule 1. I will use the drill bonk only in case of emergencies. Rule 2. Hacking is allowed except for the offensive hacks like drones, cameras, and turrets. Also, no hacking healing machines because hacking healing machines will cause any enemy that heals on them to take damage. Gene tonics are allowed except any that might cause damage unnecessarily, like passive. Also, I'll be able to use plasmids, but only on clearing obstacles. Rule 4. Any projectiles that telekinesis can grab is fair game. This rule is kinda odd, but it will make sense later in the video. And then Rule 5. Any traps that are already laid or enemies infighting that kills an enemy is not my fault and simply natural selection. So without further ado, let's get this game of ultimate dodgeball going. I woke up dazed and confused in a puddle of what I hoped was water. Went down the hall to find a big sister making a mess of the place. Kids. Attempted to fix the electrical system to no avail, and had the first taste of combat. After that thrilling encounter, I was peer pressured by a girl on my head claiming to be my daughter to do drugs. I caved. Stocked up on as many Eve hypos as I could carry, then cleared out the 2 splicers before fixing the power generator. For the next half of this chapter, it was a walking simulator, bonking the locals with nothing of note. This is till I was forced to face a big sister. Not having many other options, it was time to throw hands. After seeing the abysmal damage I was doing, I started to get worried that the run was over. Thankfully, for some reason, she decided to run away instead of finishing me. I healed up and chased her down corridors till I confronted her at the ballroom, to which she responded with a surprise pool party. Not to waste the opportunity, I went for a small swim and got an amazing view of Rapture. Then I waltzed right into the airlock and completed the chapter. After making myself at home, I yoinked the ranged hacking tool. Got to meet the big bad, to which I was promptly ambushed and saved due to shoddy workmanship. After getting out of the water, I found my new toy, telekinesis. As the run goes on, this plasmid begins to shine. I will also note I have been cutting a lot of footage of me walking in minor fights. Just know it's nothing of note. With telekinesis in hand, it was time to test it out, and I'm just going to let this clip play it out. After that telekinesis demo, I was swarmed by splicers to the next area, so I ran past what I could and threw barrels at what I couldn't, and was safely in the elevator. Once at the top, I met Tenenbaum, the keeper of the little ones, who tasked me to find my little one before I die, and promptly was ambushed by splicers once again. In this fight, I found out if you're holding an object big enough, you can block bullets and cause them to sometimes not fire at you. With the fight over, I met Sinclair and finished this chapter. The goal for this chapter was to get Incinerate, to get to the ice, and get to the next chapter. To get the plasmid, I'll need Adam, and to those who have played BioShock, you know the decision I'm about to make. And pause. So, here's the problem. When going over the recordings, we have a gap, and I'm not sure what went wrong, but I'll go over real quick what happened. To catch us up, we need a key that a lady named Grace Holloway has, and she's sending her band of merry men to throw hands. Meanwhile, I'm throwing rocks. Now, while I fight this Big Daddy, I'll explain why I decided to harvest the little sisters instead of save them. In BioShock 2, once you defeat a Big Daddy, you can adopt the little sister and help her complete her jobs and save her. But that requires you to deal with 2 defend the point-like missions, and at this point, I don't have enough Eve to defend and continue on. Also, with this being a challenge run, I wanted as much Adam as possible. In the footage that was lost, I fought my first Big Daddy and had to blow way too much money than I was comfortable with spending, considering this is my first time playing. So, for the rest of this run, I only harvested and I felt awful the whole time. I got some upgrades from the Gatherer's Garden and promptly smoked another Big Daddy. To be honest, the explosive variants are kind of a joke with telekinesis. I raced along the rooftops, broke into someone's house and stole their magic camera, recorded a live leak not once but twice, raided a local crack den, then found Grace Holloway in her secret room and yoinked her key, also sparing her life. Beat a man to death with a trash can. Then I put the key I got from Grace Holloway into the train slot and was on my way. While on the train, I was very rudely interrupted by a Jehovah's Witness, picked up a pet slug to whom I'll call Jorge, then went inside and watched a public execution. I splurged on some upgrades to calm my nerves. Then I turned the tables on the Jehovah's Witness by raiding his home, then bonked him on the head with an explosive stick and stole his copy of Tim Allen the Santa Claus. To which I promptly challenged the king of the Jehovah's Witnesses. 1. Tried my hand at plumbing and failed miserably. Then I ran away so no one would yell at me. I don't like getting yelled at. Once back inside, I threw a pallet at a magician. I hate magic. Met Stanley, who tasked me with eliminating elite big daddies and dealing with the little sisters. It's kind of sus. And faced my first elite big daddy, to which I had to use something in my bag of tricks. Remember the fourth rule, the run? Yeah, this one? Well, this is the 1 or 3 instances in which it becomes needed. You see, with telekinesis, you can grab just about any projectile barring bullets. That goes the same with your own grenade launcher, so if I shoot them harmlessly away, I could grab them and chuck them at enemies. As you've seen how little damage I was doing, I wouldn't have enough Eve to finish the fight, let alone do it 2 more times for the other elites. So, if you think this invalidates the run, feel free to dislike the video and be on your way. If not, let's continue. I took out the second elite, then the third, completing Stanley's mission. To which I promptly lit him on fire because I'm pretty sure he touches kids, then completed the chapter. The next person to meet was Alex the Great, a weird robo-dude. So I destroyed his relays. Got tossed into the middle of a display fight, getting to cast Uno reverse card on fireballs. Broke the second relay. Then took a hit of a mystery potion which teleported me all over the place and had me tripping, then sent me to what I could only assume was purgatory before sending me back. Finally found the real Alex, and turns out he's different, so it must be cleansed. But I showed him some mercy by getting him his favorite snacks. Took a gene sample to remember him by. Fried the absolute McShit out of him because the past him wanted me to. Then I went on my way. After loading into the next area, I promptly fell through the floor and died. Do note this is the second time I died this playthrough, just a testament to the strength of telekinesis. I respawned and went down the hall to find my, quote, daughter in a glass box, tried to break in, got ambushed by 2 big sisters, to which I bonked them with large rocks until they died. Tried once again to break in, experienced the drawbacks of having lifelink, and I'm a fucking child now. Great. Man, this game is weird. Stole some property, then returned said property, to which I was very abruptly executed. Then the girl, once again claiming to be my daughter, bust me out of my restraints. We tried stealing a ship, but the big bad locked us out with the lockdown. Got my final upgrade of telekinesis, which actually allows me to pick up people now. Sinclair got turned into a fucking robot. Bonked a buffoon with a barrel. Then I put Sinclair out of his misery, which wasn't too hard of a fight considering his whole moveset was launching explosives. Using Sinclair's key, I manually overwrote the lockdown. Then Big Bad Lamb blew out the ballast compressors, which made the boat too heavy, so the only solution was to... boil the water by using the sacrificed little sisters to, quote, power up my daughter, that one, so that she can do it. Okay. I cleared out area 1 and 2 for my little psycho so she could feast. Little Miss Psycho began her Dragon Ball power up to boil the water. I defended her from the brutes in the other Alpha series while she did that. Finally, I got my chance to flood a room. Me and the chick ran to the sub, only to be met with an explosive surprise.
If you are saying something to us, I cannot hear you.
And then gracefully floated all the way to the top. And I was promptly shanked by the Psycho once we reached the surface and beat BioShock2 with only telekinesis. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. If you want to support the channel, consider dropping a follow. And if you have recommendations for future challenges or tips to improve my content, please comment below. This is Kyle the Rock Pile. I'll see you the next time.